Ooh. Hey guys, I'm back. Think I should sanitize this? It's sitting in my crusty basement for almost 40 years. You know, you think there's any virus on this? I can sanitize with this. That's the way to go. Enough of the nonsense. Let's get on with part 3 of our Applie II investigation. All right, let's see if this thing will boot up from the DOS master diskette. Sure enough, it does. DOS version 3.3. It found the language card inside, so it's loading integer basic into there. We should be able to do a catalog of what's on that diskette. Get a list of files. Files have a type in front of them, so this hello has an A, which is Applesoft. I think B's are binaries. Not sure what the I's. I guess those are I's. Yeah, if my eyes are seeing it correctly. But let's put another one in here. Actually, I want to show you some of the little programs that I did over time. Let's start with something really simple. Got to load the program first if it's Applesoft. Once you've loaded it, it's in memory, and you can list it, make changes to it if you choose to. If you want to execute it, you just type in run. This is a very simple program. It's asking for a mortgage amount. I'll say 100,000. I assume it's dollars. It's asking for an interest rate. Now it doesn't tell me what the format is. Not very user friendly. Let's just put in 12, see what it does. Years of payment, well, 30-year mortgage. It's coming up with a monthly payment of $100,000, which doesn't seem very legit. So let's just run it again, try some different numbers. I'm going to use 100,000 again for the mortgage amount. Now for the interest rate, I'm going to say 0.12, as if that's 12%. Years for payment is 30. Now we get a decent number. So it says our monthly payment is $1,028.61, and it's proceeding to write out an amortization schedule. So that's great. Simple program, right? Let's see what else we got. You notice I must have had some program that would read the catalog and print it out in form that I could then paste it on top of my diskette cover so I could see what was on here. I want to show you this little program called Filer. So let's load that. I believe this is probably the first useful program that I wrote. Oops. Load the diskette. One of the first things I wanted to be able to do is actually kind of type a simple letter. And I'm pretty sure this is the program I wrote to do that. I don't know why I called it Filer, but I did. But the idea was you could create a file, give it a title, like I'll just say test file, for lack of a better name, and then it brings up an editor screen. And I don't remember all the secret keystrokes in here, and there's no help file, and I'm sure that I had some reference guide at one point as to what all the special keystrokes were. But the idea is you could just, come in here and type, right? And the TL is basically the top line of the file that it's showing. The 1 is column 1, the 39 is column 39. So if you just, kept typing here and you just keep going, eventually what it will do is scroll, there goes that screen again. It will scroll the file to the left. So now it says 20 and 58. If we do a return key, we're back to column 1 again. Likewise, if I went down the file, it will automatically scroll, so the top line is now changing as we scroll down. Now, I don't even remember how to get back to the menu from this, but I know, and I knew it could handle uppercase and lowercase, but I don't remember even what the the shifts cases were to make all that all that happen. So, and I'm not going to worry about trying to figure it out either, but I just wanted to show you the fact that I had this, and you could print this if you formatted things correctly when it printed out. It looked decent. It was respectable for putting together a letter or something like that. It was never intended to be like an editor for an Applesoft program. I mean, Applesoft is stored as a different format on the diskette, so it was never intended to do something like that. But that's that program. The next one I want to show you is, let's see, it's this on this diskette, I believe. I called this one Screen Builder. My file names, I'd maintain version numbers. Sometimes I'd put dates on the file name so I knew what day I actually saved it. Here we go, Screen Builder, main selections. Now the idea here was that you could basically create a screen that looked like this, kind of a full screen with both outputs and input fields. Like this is an input field. And it would then generate the basic code that would create this screen and request the input fields and be able to display them again. So you could do things like creating all these screens just by typing them in and be able to see exactly what it looked like, then generate the Applesoft to go with it. There's a bunch of utilities. Once you had the screen designed, you could generate the Applesoft, or you could save it, save it to basic. You could also print out the generated basic if you wanted to. So you could create the screen, save the screen, load it back in, make changes to it, and put out the basic code to support it. Now I don't remember all the keystrokes and everything. So if I went into screen development and I did it create, and then I gave it the right things, like it wants a PJ, some kind of a code, then it wants okay, 2-character screen identifier. I'll just say 23 and 01. So now I've identified it, some kind of a naming convention. Now I'm in there. Now I could, just like on the other editor, I could type in the screen, move around the screen using whatever keystrokes it used, and make it look the way I want to make it look, and then somehow get out of here and go back and generate the code. But like I said, I don't remember any of the keystrokes anymore, so it's pretty much shot until I can resurrect all that stuff. All right, so that was that. Now let's just review one more program that I created and found rather useful back in the day, and that was actually, I called it the budgeting and the check register maintenance. So, oops, always had trouble getting my fingers properly honed on this keyboard. Okay, so it's the budget system. And again, I don't remember how to use this thing, but you could create a new budget for the year, and you could go in and use the checkbook and track each check you're writing. It would obviously maintain a balance. Come on, baby, load her up. These computers were never fast. So there we go. We can, work on the checkbook register. We could record transactions. God, it's restricting me to certain things. I don't want to do that. But you notice, this is kind of a full screen interface, which is the way I always like things to be. And the point was, these screens were actually done using that screen builder program is how I put those together. So, I don't remember how to do the budgeting. I can tell you it was tedious, but it was a whole lot better than doing it by hand. Okay, one more little goodie. Remember that mortgage program? I made a better version of that. Wait, that's the wrong one. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to find the right one. Here it is. Keys are in the wrong place again. Okay, this is the mortgage program with a full screen interface. So let's do a mortgage amortization. Let's do a simple fixed rate, although we had a choice of a fixed rate, a growing equity mortgage, or a variable rate. I don't know if they still do growing equity mortgages nowadays. I know they do variable rate mortgages. But let's just do a simple fixed rate. How many years? We'll do 30 years. What's the interest rate? Now it's telling us what the format is. Back in those days, a 12% interest rate was a really good, attractive interest rate. So you really got it good now with these, single digit 3-4%ers. But let's just do one at 4%. Let's borrow 100,000 again. And when we're done, it says type of Y. We've done. Now it says, what do you want to do with it? Well, let's create a principal summary report. All right, so we're calculating. Have to wait. A lot of number crunching here. These computers were not exactly rocket ships, So while we're waiting here, I'll explain why the heck I would buy a computer like this back in the day. I was entering a career of software development at the time. I had gone to a programming school in Norristown to get me going with that. And I had taken kind of an enrichment course along with that where, and this was at night, where somebody came in, they talked about the hardware, and how computers actually worked under the covers, what a bit was, how it all tied together. How processors ran, what registers were, all these different things. I just found it completely fascinating. Well, microcomputers were, it was a brand new thing at that time. And that was about as close as you could get to the hardware and being able to actually tinker with things. So this was a way to, get much more involved in that evolving technology. I had been reading Byte magazine pretty religiously for a few years, and I didn't understand everything that was in there, but I enjoyed it. I found it fascinating, and this was a way to kind of get myself immersed. So, that's why I did it. And obviously it was the right decision to make. So anyways, here I came back with a principal summary report. Guess it didn't take that long, maybe a minute, but what it did here is for every year, it basically produced what the remaining balance of principal would be. It's going to tell us what the total interest paid is over 30 years and what the grand total paid, if you actually went the full 30 years. And what the payment is, $477.41. So that's probably enough for this video. Thanks for spending a little time with me here. We don't have much else to do. We're kind of quarantined, or at least told to stay home, not go out. All the businesses are closed. So it's not a lot to do. Hope you enjoyed it. See you later. Bye.